These notes are made from our intestines. These colors from our bloodlines. Our dance steps are just our tears in portable form. And because Vicious Days have gone platinum, made all our songs go ruby. We extra with the red to set the rainbow off after the storm. Fat ain't gonna be enough to describe this to a friend. Our eyes just in time to witness a chorus of metamorphosis. Woe to those trying to stop these killer African bees from making honey. Our babies, with their smiles, are our actual masterpieces. We just a franchise of the very beginning. When it was said, let there be light, lovers that can't help ourselves. Creators, creating and creating. Amen.
Olu Butterfly, it's a pleasure to see you. How have you been?
Lifing. I have been lifing.
Yeah. We're here in your office here at the Black Arts District. I've actually walked past this building many times, but didn't realize that this hidden gem was here.
Yeah.
Well, you do so many different things, and I have had the pleasure of knowing you and working with you many times over the years. Mm-hmm. And I first came to know of who you were through poetry, and I learned that you were a poet. And so specifically for this episode, I wanted to ask you, spoken word, the art of spoken word, what does that mean to you?
I love that question because I kind of take Jessica Caremore's position, which she is not a fan of the term because she's like, I'm a poet and I'm in a tradition of poets, but I understand the use of that word. It kind of like neo soul, like it speaks to, you're like, hey, I just do music, but it does speak to an era and a vibe. And so I love that the young people that I have made space for have gone on, some of them have gone on to be English professors, published authors on tour. So it's really a kind of unlimited expression. So I think spoken word sometimes puts some caps around it. But this new generation of poets, I just love them. And in general, I would say we're in a tradition of speakers. So, for example, there's a woman named Henrietta Vinton Davis, who's from Baltimore. She was Marcus Garvey's inspiration. So I would say, like, just as much as we might be out of the tradition of poets, we're out of that tradition as well. People like Henrietta Vinton Davis that will go on tour and fire people up through their expressions. And so, yeah, I like to see myself in that tradition. It's not just anything goes, just like our language, just like anything with spoken word or with poetry. My confession is that I'm an Aquarius and I really like freedom. So I don't like rules, but some people do. Some people find them to be fun. One of the things that I could say also that makes Baltimore unique is I have a partner, Slangston Hughes, who came up with a system of elements. And so water, fire, air, and earth. Like water poets draw more from their emotions. Fire poets, they use techniques and they might use like rhyme and different literary techniques more. And then earth poets, it's just real like direct. Like if they're telling a story, it's like literal sometimes and direct. And then air, that would be me. Like we are, it might be like metaphors, and we're like kind of far out there. And what that has been able to do is we're not trying to make people be something that they aren't. We see you, which has been very, I think, liberating for artists to say, it's not that you're doing it wrong or this is the official way to do things, but you are kind of a style, you have a tribe.
For you, when you're writing poetry, do you approach it in different ways? Do you find inspiration from the life around you? I know you're a mother of wonderful children. Do you find inspiration from them? Where does that
I
come
wish
from?
I did. First of all, I love studying. So sometimes I get caught up in the research. With the Henrietta Lacks piece, for example, that was a commissioned piece. And so going from just writing whenever I get the feeling to hit me versus like having to like delve into a subject matter and do something that's a little bit more intentional. Like I already knew a little bit about Henrietta Lacks, but I became a little bit more of an expert on her and her life as much as I could. I connected with this subject matter. The piece is called The Goddess versus the Body Snatchers because there's a reputation that our city, which is very much run by, they call meds and eds, there's a reputation that there would be people actually, family members snatched off the streets, experimented on, and then let back onto the streets. And so I did not lean out of that. I leaned into that concept. So there's always thought and social justice kind of even in all subject matters, even writing about a flower. It's like, first of all, Langston Hughes' saying, which is the prerequisite to writing is having something to say.
On Henrietta Lacks, the goddess versus the body snatchers. 1 foot on the plantation, 1 foot in outer space. Traumatized DNA been on a rocket. Colonized colonies been inside a bomb exploding. Not a stay-at-home mom, a stay-in-orbit mom, drinking nectar and wiping butts with other solar-powered women. We do not look down on you as we levitate. Flying is a shortcut, naturally supernatural. 2 flammables make a water. Chemists don't always understand alchemists. We keep the God in it, changing the world and diapers. Because we are magical and can't seem to take a day off, we weep and we sweep. Do you deserve this black goddess? Could you serve this black goddess? Say her name, display her name. Do me a favor, sashay her name. That goddess from the colored ward. Those people. No country to call ours. Been in the valley so long it is made of our bones, doing our best 3/5 of a person impression. You see me every day, but you do not know me. Name something black people do on Sundays. Name something black people do when they scared. What's the news? Baltimore girl can't get good health care. New day, same old. Corporations are a body, protected more than this body. Gentrified cells worth more outside her body than her whole body intact. Carefully cultivate that cell division. Ignore my children, just a dark-ass carcass. Shadows shouting, it's my people, waiting for a miracle to fall out the sky. And if not, then for the sky to fall as the beat drops. I do not love to see the black snatched back from the stars and thrown at their feet, turning all gray with winter winds. Our bodies did not ask for this when we cried out for healing. The body snatchers versus the goddess. Doctors had to lie to themselves that our pain threshold was higher. Imagine thinking slaves were happy. Imagine calling people slaves. Surgery theater horror stories. Won't use Nazi research, but use tortured captive African research without a second thought. We call this science. Is this BS and BS? Basura. You all Monday morning meeting at the party. You fine print to the friendly greeting. You don't know what it's like to be a part of something. You wanted to stand apart from everyone, to be in a contest to the top of a mountain of skulls, carefully measured and classified stepping stones to Nobel Prizes. You might not know what life is with your calculated death. Killed all those mice and sacrificed all those black people to say you discovered water is wet. So you could put your names on discoveries that had already been established by people of color from ancient times. A peace brought to you by murderers, health brought to you by sickos, civilization brought to you by the ones who have made at least 60% of the world's animal species disappear, science brought to you in an atomic bomb lineage. Are these your leaders? Are these your healers? Making a name for yourself with my anonymous statement. Since when was a poor black woman worthy of your utterance? Untitled by unknown, bought for $0. What is the smallest piece of me that you will accept? Here, I am no more. Now take me to myself. Got this spice? Gonna feed you with it. Got this body all our own, gonna gift it. Feeding cousins with bread pudding. Feeding the world with her womb. Racking up miles, dragging halos around. Put this weight on her wings and watch her fold. Laundry. Why was Earth our assignment again? Leaving this paradise for workaholics. A vacation from the blues. Had to send her children on to a future without her. At the crossroads of stress and emergency laughter, keeping riot fires to herself, constantly battling poverty with our sense of infinite possibilities, created ourselves to endure, to race spaceships and time travel. Thank you for noticing. Do you deserve this black goddess? Could you serve this black goddess? Say her name, display her name. Do me a favor, sashay her name.